Lakers talk is on.
710 ESPN.
Here's a long three, and he buried it. Talen Horton-Tucker, that's a season-high 3 threes in a game for him.
Wins like this are key. Wins like this are important. You could tell that this is important for some of these Lakers role players.
It's Lakers Talk with Allen Sliwa.
Let's go! THT's going to dribble at the clock, and that's going to do it. 7 Lakers in double figures, led by Talen Horton-Tucker's 17.
Because you're so short-handed, and you got role players playing big key minutes that you're asked to almost be franchise players until LeBron, Anthony Davis, Andre Drummond come back.
From the home of the world champs at LA Live, this is Lakers Talk.
Here's Allen Sliwa.
What is going on, Laker fans? What is going on? Appreciate you guys tuning in. It's been a while. I feel like it's been about 24 hours since we last got together. The Lakers Talk 7 to 9 on 710 ESPN. That one's done. Then we come here. Social show. We'll do, obviously, a full Lakers Talk here as well. So thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. We got a lot of topics to get into, as you can see from the bottom there. This kind of, this is the interesting one for me right now. I was thinking of the topics for tonight's show. And one of the things is just kind of looking at the Lakers, just overall where the Lakers are right now. So here's the Lake Show now at 32-19. Portland lost yesterday to the Clippers, so they actually have a game-and-a-half lead now over the Portland Trailblazers. So Lakers sitting in that 5th spot. We'll see how long they're going to stay in that spot. There's a good game going on right now that I'm sure a lot of Laker fans are keeping an eye on. 96-95 Utah and Phoenix, so that game's going on. And that's number 1, number 2 in the Western Conference according to standings, but we all know health and everything else has a lot more to do with that. So overall where the Lakers are, it's kind of crazy. They're 4-2 in their last 6 games. I know they haven't beat up good teams over those last 6 games. I mean, you beat Cleveland, you beat Orlando, you beat Sacramento, you beat Toronto. You lost to Milwaukee, you lost to the Clippers. Who freaking cares? I've got to be honest with you guys. I'm actually a little surprised the Lakers, how they've done without LeBron and Anthony Davis. And I also want to give some love and some respect to some of these Lakers role players. They're asked to come in to a role, into a position that nobody freaking signed up for. Of course, this is not, Markieff Morris is not a Laker to be a starter. I kind of go down the list of players that thought they'd be a role player, thought they'd be coming off the bench, and then here they are playing big-time minutes for the Lakers. But this is what they're asked to do right now. So I think overall for the Lakers right now, it's interesting. Because when I mentioned Denver, or when I mentioned Utah and Phoenix playing each other right now, this is a good example, all right? You have other teams in the Western Conference right now that are fighting for playoff seeding, and the Lakers are not doing that. You have big-time superstars playing big-time regular season minutes right now, and the Lakers are obviously not doing that. And this is not by design. This is just kind of the predicament that the Lakers are in. Do you guys know that we have not seen Anthony Davis on the floor? When I was doing Lakers Talk, I was talking about this. He's missed 23 straight games. We haven't seen AD on the floor since February 14th. That was a game the Lakers played against the Denver Nuggets. I feel like I haven't seen Anthony Davis in 2 years. Not literally, but you guys know what I'm talking about here. I want to see Anthony Davis play. Andre Drummond came in for 14 minutes and now has been out since then. And I'll get into Andre Drummond a little bit later. Remember, Andre Drummond before that, Andre Drummond's played 14 minutes since February 12th with the Cleveland Cavaliers, just to give you an idea on that perspective. LeBron, his last game with the Lakers was March 20th. He's been out. I don't think anybody's expecting him back over the next couple of weeks or so. Maybe we get him back early May, something along those lines. That's the hope. We'll see what happens. So kind of overall with the Lakers right now, got to be honest, I'll take it. Under the circumstances, I'll take it. And I think there is something to say that these other teams are fighting so hard for playoff positioning and guys are logging in big minutes. And really for the Lakers, the standings don't matter because you don't have an option here. They just don't matter. That's number one. And number two, your big-time players are actually not using all their energy at this stage of the season. They're just trying to get back. Of course, you want them to be healthy. I'm not saying this is an ideal situation to be in, but I kind of like seeing some of these Lakers role players try to figure things out on their own. I know they're gaining some type of continuity together. They're definitely gaining confidence playing together. And it's not perfect basketball. This is not the situation that you want to be in, but it's the reality for the Lakers. So overall for the Lake Show right now, you kind of just got to take it. And there's nothing really that you can say after that. You got to literally just take it and just kind of live with the results there. And we got some – it's not going to be any easier coming up for the Lakers. I'll get into the schedule coming up in a little bit as well. But, okay, let me play off of this real quick. So here we got the Jazz and the Phoenix Suns playing each other right now. Literally the TV is directly above my head. So I have to, shift my entire body to see it. I got a question for Laker fans out there. This is one that you guys can definitely be a part of. My question is, Steve is asking, is this being simulcast radio, YouTube? Not radio, but YouTube. So radio, we're done on 710 ESPN, so now this is just on all our social accounts. This is the question I got for Laker fans out there. If you're going to avoid one team in the first round, if you're going to avoid one team in the first round, who would you like to avoid? By the way, I put this question up on Twitter, and I got a lot of people that chimed in. And I get the whole, we're not dodging anybody. I get it. Everyone put on there. There was a lot of Laker fans saying, we'll take anybody, bring them all on right now. I get all that. I understand that. But if there's a team that you'd like to avoid in the first round, who'd you like to avoid? Okay. And the reason why I'm bringing this question up is yesterday, Michael Thompson and I were in the pregame show. And in the pregame show, I mentioned it to Michael, and we both actually had the same exact answer. Both him and I, let me wait on our answer. Let me read off a couple of these. Let's see what we got here. Aniket Mohan, as long as the Lakers avoid Denver in the first round, we should be good. Kevin Angelis, Denver. Alex Antin Grovita, Utah. House phone on YouTube, Clippers. Read more of these. Steve does not like this question. Nelson Henriquez on Facebook, Denver. See what else we got here. Melvin McGee, Suns. Peter Marcellus, Clippers. So this is why I'm asking the question. I feel like I get so many different answers on this. Somebody's saying we don't avoid anyone, Allen. Okay, let's just say you prefer not to play because you want to play him later on in the playoffs. Is that a little better wording? The reason why I like this question is because I get so many different answers. It's funny. I got Laker fans that, me personally, if Lakers play the Suns in the first round, I don't see that Lakers are going to have any issue there. That's my personal opinion. Utah, I'm not 100% still sold on. This is my, personal opinion. I haven't seen Utah make legitimate noise in the playoffs for me to be like, okay, that's a big time threat there. And I could be wrong on all these. Clippers got a really, really good squad. I like the addition of Rondo. I think that's going to be a tough out, but I got to be honest. It's not the Clippers either. For me, I think the series that could give the Lakers a headache means you're going deep in the series. A headache means there's no team in the West that I think the Lakers aren't beating. I actually don't think there's a team that could take the Lakers 7 games. This team may be able to take the Lakers 7 games, but I don't think so. I think you could still finish them off in 6. Denver's an interesting one. Denver's a team that I think I'd rather have other teams face Denver first, and let's take them on a little bit later in the playoffs. But to take them on in the first round, and there's no real kind of like prepper. By the way, Lakers are in no position to pick and choose here. They're either going to get Utah, or they're going to get Clippers, or they're going to get Phoenix, or they're going to get Denver. It's most likely going to be one of those 4 teams, because even if you're in 5th, you're taking on one of those teams. If you're further back, then you're playing, obviously one of those teams anyways. Denver's addition, I thought, of Aaron Gordon is really nice addition. They got also players that just last season beat Utah in a 7-game set, beat the Clippers in the 7-game set. So they got some playoff experience. They lost to the Lakers last year. They're looking for, okay, can we get that additional opportunity? So for me, I would say Denver in the first round, I'd like to avoid. Let's face them a little bit further down in the playoffs. Perk Nowitzki on YouTube. Lakers versus Clippers can't be first round. Okay, let me keep reading this here. Alex Trin, Utah overrated, to be honest. A lot of Denver's in here. For Laker fans that we're going to get to my video earlier today from the park and the tragedy of the jump shot. We're going to get into that a little bit later. Okay, we'll get into that. All right, avoiding in the first round. Let's see what else we got here. LA Sports Live on Periscope. Not sold on Utah either, but that crowd will be rocking. That's a good point. That's one thing I guess I haven't really paid too much attention to is here we are all season long not having, NBA fans at Staples Center, which, by the way, I've been at every game this year at Staples Center. I cannot wait for April 15th to get freaking fans back. I mean, the players need energy. I mean, everybody needs energy. I mean, I'm even sitting there at times. I'm like, it does not feel like basketball, right? That energy is such a big part. But that's a good point about, a place like Denver or a place like Utah where they start allowing fans in, where that could start having a little bit more of an impact. Which, by the way, I will tell you this: I think it could help the Lakers to have fans back. All right, let's see a couple more here. Clippers will not beat Denver. How about that? Let those two go up against each other. Let the Nuggets and the Clippers face each other. How great would that be in the first round? All right, let me read off a couple more here. Was the game going to overtime? It looks like that game might be going to overtime, tied at 102. All right, someone on YouTube, my email, avoid Clippers at all costs, Rondo game changer. Definitely would not go that far. But he's going to help him. He's definitely going to help him. Okay, let's kind of keep things flowing here, because I could read off a lot of these. I would just say at the end of the day for me, let's get Denver a little bit later. And by the way, I get it too, Lakers, Clippers, like to have that be your first round matchup, what could easily happen. Clippers could end up the number 3 seed. Lakers could end up the number 6 seed. And that's very likely to happen. So you can have Kawhi and PG and Rondo and, Serge Ibaka, whatever, all these guys in the first round against the Lakers. That'd be kind of crazy to have that. That's another matchup that feels like it should be later on, but nothing Lakers can avoid based on the circumstances. Okay. Andre Drummond's return. Let's show this post here real quick. So Lakers got Miami coming up tomorrow. There's a post from Andre Drummond on Instagram. The post literally reads, "Still missing a toenail, but tomorrow night we're lit." Okay. So sounds like there's a good chance here. We might be getting Andre Drummond back for the Lakers tomorrow. And if he's going up tomorrow, obviously against the Miami Heat, who, what a weird team, 26-25. I don't understand that team. There's times they'll go on a 4-game winning streak, and then they'll lose 4 games in a row, whatever the case is. Not 100% sure what the Miami Heat is. But I'll tell you what the Miami Heat is tomorrow. They're going to come NBA Finals, obviously a rematch and it's in Miami. They're going to try and take advantage of the schedule, and the schedule shows that no LeBron, no Anthony Davis, so they're going to try to take full advantage of that. That's a tough game tomorrow. They need Andre Drummond. So if Andre Drummond can return tomorrow, and what do we need Andre Drummond to do for the Lakers? Grab some rebounds, get a couple of lobs, be a big man down low, give the Lakers 25 minutes, 30 minutes tomorrow. Let Montrezl come in off the bench and give you that energy you're looking for. I get Andre Drummond tomorrow. Since February 12th, he's played 12 minutes. So if we can start getting Andre Drummond for this long stretch here, for the Lakers, that would obviously be key for the Lake Show. And looks like based from Andre Drummond. And yesterday, Lakers coach Frank Vogel kind of mentioned this as well. He talked about how we could get him tomorrow, or we could get him in the next game. It'd be great to get Andre Drummond back. So we'll have to wait and see if Drummond comes back. But we'll wait for that. Okay, let's do some roll call right now. Get Laker fans giving me a heads up where you guys are tuning in from. As always, we appreciate you guys being a part of this show. Quick shout out also to Power Pro Plumbing, Heating, and Air. True story here. Air conditioner, done. Gonzo. Power Pro came out, had a dude come out, nice guy, younger kid. His name was Bryant, came out, technician, had a supervisor come out the next day. We're going to have to go ahead and replace that air conditioner. Power Pro Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Any issues that you have, weather's starting to get warmer. Actually, the weather's been really nice these last couple of days. But powerproplumbing.com for anything that you need. Thank you to their partnership. They've been a partner on 710 ESPN for a number of years and as big as Laker fans as you're going to get. All right, let me read off some of these where Laker fans are tuning in from. Camarillo, California. Thank you for being in the house. Vegas, Murrieta, Echo Park, Los Santos, Little Italy, San Diego. Let me waste no time at this. We got a lot of people tuning in from everywhere. Goose Creek, South Carolina, Santa Fe, New Mexico, Oceanside, Frisco, Texas. Night Bass on YouTube is offering his toenail for Andre Drummond if he needs it. These are the type of Laker fans I'm looking for. Laker fans that are willing to give up what they have in order to keep the Lakers rolling along. Anaheim, what else we got here? Torrance in the house. Anaheim in the house. Said that already, Alan. Rancho Santa Margarita. Highland Park in the house. Phoenix, Arizona. Thank you for tuning in. What else we got here? Denver, Maryland, San Francisco, but not Chase Center, though. Thank you for clarifying that. Santa Fe, New Mexico. Holland in the house. A couple people telling me they like Ben McLemore. By the way, that addition of Ben McLemore just to put a bow on the buyout market. This is a guy that Lakers, we talked about, they need a shooter. They need a big. Pelinka goes out, grabs the big with Andre Drummond, then grabs obviously Ben McLemore, about 40% three-point shooter. That was last season with the Houston Rockets. We'll see how he does. Long Beach, Arizona, Lake Forest, California. Thank you for tuning in. Azusa, California in the house. Appreciate it. San Bernardino. El Cajon, California in the house. All right, let's see what else we got here. Yosemite, Sacramento. Got people everywhere. Jamaica, Philippines, Bakersfield, Norwalk. I can't keep up. Albuquerque in the house. Thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate you guys tuning in. All right, if I miss you, my bad. Keep them coming. I'll try to get to you. Alaska. I said Little Italy 19 times. Oklahoma in the house. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you guys all tuning in. Okay. So let me kind of break down something for Laker fans out there. We got a tough stretch coming for the Lake Show. I don't know if you guys looked at the schedule lately. The next 9 games for the Lakers all are against playoff teams. Every single team we face over the next 9 games are all against playoff teams. So, listen, they're not all powerhouses. And frankly, with the way the roster is right now, the way the schedule is right now, obviously any one of these games you can lose. Now, if you get a great shooting night against Toronto, you take advantage of a couple of their injuries, you come out with a win. You shoot well against the Sacramento Kings, you blow them out in Sacramento, fantastic. But the Milwaukees, the Clippers, and you struggle shooting, and you have these injuries, there's only so much you can do. But look at this schedule, the next 9 games for the Lakers. Miami tomorrow, they're better than their record says. Brooklyn, I heard Stephen A. earlier today. I heard Kendrick Perkins talk about it, that they're a little bit concerned. Are they going to have enough time chemistry-wise? Are the injuries going to be too much for them? Things along those lines. Yeah, I don't have any concern about Brooklyn. KD missed 23 straight games, came back today. They got James Harden out for 10 straight games, for 10 straight days. I think part of that is just being extra cautious, kind of what other teams like the Lakers are doing. When that team gets into the postseason, yeah, that's an issue. I'd be shocked if they're healthy, they don't go to the NBA Finals. Same way with the Lakers. So Brooklyn's coming up on Saturday. Knicks and Charlotte. So New York and Charlotte, 500 ball. Boston after that, 500 ball. So those 3 games, they're winnable games, but these are still playoff teams. And just as much as you think you could beat them, they think they could beat you because you don't have LeBron and Anthony Davis. 2 against Utah, 2 against Dallas. What's interesting in this kind of scenario, and, when I point out how tough that schedule is, I don't know about you guys, and I'm going to explain the play-in tournament in just a second, but the next 9 games, if Anthony Davis doesn't make his return, hopefully Andre Drummond can come back tomorrow. Tough sledding. But I think you could still squeeze in a couple wins here and there. But if these elite teams want to take you out, they'll have every ability to do it. You really got to look at that New York, Charlotte, Boston. Those are going to be the 3 games that hopefully you got some opportunities to win. I think tomorrow's a tough game. I think Brooklyn, obviously, the 2 against Utah, the 2 against Dallas. Let's see where we're at health-wise. But, if there's any way or possibility Anthony Davis comes back for any of those games, that'd be huge for the Lakers. But that's a tough stretch in April for the Lakers. Okay. You guys know how this play-in tournament works? Let me explain it real quick. The reason why I bring this up is because, you look at the schedule. I talk about these next 9 games are tough. Lakers in the standings right now sitting at 5th. It's not a stretch here that by the time the season ends, Lakers have a 3.5 game lead on Dallas for number 7. I wouldn't be shocked if the season ended and the Lakers are in that play-in tournament. And I've heard a lot of people saying that, it's so dangerous. You don't want to be in that play-in tournament. I mean, you never know what can happen. Let me explain the tournament real quick. 7 will play 8. The winner of that game has the number 7 seed. 9 will play 10. The winner of that game will face the loser of 7 and 8. They'll play against each other for the number 8 seed. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. If Lakers are in the 7th seed and have to win a game to get to, they have to play Memphis in a play-in tournament to get, honestly, I literally don't care at all. I mean, hell, if you told me that Lakers were in 7th and then got to play Phoenix in the first round, I'd rather play Phoenix in the first round than play the Clippers if they're a number 3 seed. So I don't really pay that much attention to the play-in tournament. I really don't. I think at the end of the day, we've said this 100 times, and I think Laker fans, obviously understand this. The standings don't mean anything to the Lakers because it's not representing what this Lakers team is, how good this Lakers team is, how good they are when they're healthy. It's the best team in the Western Conference, but they got to be healthy. So play-in tournament, no play-in tournament, none of it means anything to me. Just get in, and the Lakers will figure it out. Now, if you're injured, okay, you got a major problem. Then you're probably not going back-to-back this year. But that's how sports works, and being healthy is as big to do with anything else And that's obviously going to be key for the Lakers. All right, let me read off a couple of these comments here. Mama mentality. I believe we can beat the Heat, Knicks, Hornets, and Dallas. So you think we get 4? If Lakers came back 4-5 in that nine game stretch, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. I think any Laker fan will take that. Puerto Rico in the house. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you tuning in. Want a couple little fist pumps there? I got you, buddy. All right. I used to be able to rely on my people here and say, hey, guys, keep me posted on the score between the Jazz and the Suns because I'm in the middle of a live show. Nothing. As if I'm not even here, as if I don't even exist. Jesus, Laker fans. 115-112 Phoenix, by the way. We used to have such a tighter relationship, and now I don't know. Feel distant. Renee Oseguera on Facebook. How come I don't hear anything about LBJ returning? Well, I'll tell you what. By the way, if you guys want to start piling in with some questions, things like that, just pile in and I'll go through these. So I did hear something from Mark Stein today, basically saying so. And I heard something from Dave McMenamin yesterday. Maybe it was the day before. It was never kind of put out there. It was just LeBron's out indefinitely. But there were sources saying that probably between 4 to 6 weeks is what LeBron would miss. March 20th is when LeBron got injured against Atlanta. So let's just go the extreme and let's say it's going to be 6 weeks. So that means you're looking at maybe he comes back May 6th, 7th, 9th. Tell you what, May 6th they play the Clippers. May 7th they play the Portland Trailblazers. Maybe he comes back around that stretch. So I would be more cautious and say, okay, let's look at what's further out. 6 weeks would be obviously the furthest out. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Alex says, I'd rather be the 7th seed, Lakers, and face Suns or Jazz rather than the Clippers or the Nuggets. I'm not against that. To be honest with you. All right, I got Hassan on YouTube. Play-in is dangerous. I don't think it's that dangerous, Hassan. I really don't. I just don't think it's that big of a deal. Lakers freaking get in. I'm not worried about Memphis or San Antonio or Golden State or whoever the hell 7, 8, 9 or 8, 9, 10 or whatever the case is. Honestly, not worried at all about that. Santa Ana, California. Appreciate you tuning in. Jason Shea on Facebook. Brooklyn is going to be their biggest challenge, I think. Not arguing with that one. Both those teams healthy. They should both be in the playoffs. No question about it. Okay. What else we got here? Oh, this is a good one. I actually don't think. Let me actually get into this real quick. C. Beck wins on Periscope. Does McLemore's signing take more minutes from West or KCP? Laker fans, you know the beauty is Lakers got 13 guys that they can go to. I was thinking about this. Who's the closing 5 for the Lakers? We know the starting 5 is going to be, it's going to be Drummond, KCP, Dennis Schroeder, LeBron, and Anthony Davis. But the closing 5 for the Lakers, you know who that's going to be? Whoever the hell's playing well. If Ben McLemore's having a good game, KCP better not be coming in towards the end of the game. If Caruso, you just can't take the dude out, let Caruso finish the game. If Andre Drummond is struggling, you got to go AD at the 5 and Montrez at the 4, or Montrez at the 5, AD at the 4, then do it. And I think that's the position that, I've always said this about the Lakers last year, that they were able to counter whatever another team's strength was. They have all these options on the bench. That's kind of how this year's roster has been built again by Pelinka. You got your foundation of players, your stars, and then everybody else you can fill in. If a player is playing good, then yes, let him take away minutes from a starter or another guy or another role player. If Kuzma's having a great night and you got to keep him in the fourth quarter in crunch time, keep him in. If he's having a bad night, put somebody else in. So that's how I kind of think from a playing perspective. All right, so 117, 113, Jazz lose to the Suns. Now Phoenix is getting closer to that number 1 seed, huh? Phoenix, I think, is going to be about a game and a half out of that number 1 seed. Okay, let me read off a couple more of these comments here. Puerto Rico, appreciate you guys tuning in. There we go. Now I got all Laker fans telling me that the Suns won. This is Lakers' way of load management. LeBron, AD are not hurt. Whatever strategy it is, I'll tell you what, I don't think LeBron James and these guys would have been sitting out for this long. Trust me, we know that because LeBron never wants to be out of these games. And you saw LeBron's injury, and you saw AD's injury. At the end of the day, just get these guys back. Can they get 3 weeks together before the playoffs start? 3 weeks. 3 weeks before the playoffs start. If they could all be back by May 1st, I think we're in great shape. But I know it's a big if, too. I mean, we kind of are working blind on this one. Lincoln, Nebraska, thank you for tuning in. India, thank you for tuning in. A lot of compliments to the sweater here. It's an awesome sweater. Hoopery. Hoopery is the company that I think make these. Obviously, got the Kobe 8 and 24 on here. Okay, Laker fans, let me get into something real quick here. Earlier today, I decided to post a video of me going to a local park and shooting some jumpers, okay? Laker fans, listen, this wasn't live. I have the ability to edit this, okay? I can go out there and show the five threes that I hit in a row a couple videos later. I could have done that, but I didn't want that. I wanted to give you raw Sliwa. Couldn't hit a freaking jumper. Couldn't hit a jumper if my life depended on it. Listen, I don't care what you say. The form is solid. The ball is incredibly lopsided, but you know what? That's what I'm working with. Couldn't hit a jumper.
As far as you could possibly miss.
What's going on here? Hit a shot. I mean, to be honest with you guys, if I was you guys, 2 things would happen. Number 1, I would unsubscribe and stop following me on every account. Oh, hey, he hit one. Hey, what a special day. He finally freaking hit one. Couldn't hit a shot like this. Look at this one. Form is good. Everything looks good. Clanked it 40 feet to the right. My bad, like this. I mean, here we are getting close to the postseason. Let me just say, I'm going to be back out there in the morning. All right? Couldn't hit a shot. No freaking shot would go in.
Awful.
I don't know what all that was. But that's all I got, Laker fans. That's all I got, Laker fans. So that is tonight's Lakers talk. I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Couldn't hit a shot, man. But can I tell you guys something? It was so nice to go out to a freaking park, and the hoops are back up. You know, these hoops were down for so long, so the hoops are finally back up. And just to kind of be out there again, take a couple of jump shots. Listen, I'm more of an indoor guy, but I got to adjust here. Now I'm going to the outdoor court. Didn't go that well. Like fans, appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you for being a part of the show. Don't forget tomorrow, pregame show will start at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Tip-off will be at 4:30. Lakers got the Miami Heat. Starting at 5 a.m., Keyshawn, J. Will, Zubin, and Travis. You could start tuning in the morning, obviously, for everything that we got going on. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Thank you for spending some time with us. Come back tomorrow. Lakers and the Heat tomorrow. Have a good rest of your night, Laker fans.